I'm Margaret Aycock, and I wanted to share with you today a little bit about this little book that I just finished writing and illustrating. And this book is for parents to read with their children. I wrote it because I realized how many people go hungry every single night when there's food right outside their back door. They just don't know it. So this kind of introduces you to some things that you can actually eat that grow in just about every yard in the United States. And since it's late winter, early spring, I went outside in my own backyard before I sat down here so that I could see what's growing out there right now. So I brought in some things that I'm going to show you just very quickly, and then I'm going to flip through the book and let you see what's inside. So we'll start out with this plant. Is called chickweed, and it grows everywhere in my backyard. And this one here, you guys probably recognize it. Everybody knows the dandelion. It hasn't quite blossomed out yet, but it's getting ready to. This is something called cleavers, and you probably remember it if you walk by, and it sticks to everything. It cleaves to everything. And then this is dead nettle, and it's got very pretty little flowers on it. And you can eat all of these things, although dead nettle I don't much like, but you can always put things like this in a smoothie or in a soup. Same thing with cleavers. You can put them in a smoothie or a soup, or even throw some on your fresh salad. And chickweed, of course, that tastes pretty good on a fresh salad. And dandelion, I grew up eating this stuff, and I like it with like a warmed vinaigrette made with bacon. What doesn't taste better with bacon, after all? Okay, so let's take a look at the book. Let me move this stuff out of the way. This little book follows Claire and her neighbor. It starts out on a late summer day. Well, I should say it's late in the summer, it's early in the summer day, with Claire, who's just waking up, and her dad's outside mowing the yard, and she's taking pictures of butterflies and stuff for her scrapbooking. And she meets up with her neighbor, who is, instead of, like her father, is picking weeds in the garden later on and throwing them in the compost pile, and her neighbor is picking the same weeds, but she's putting them in a red bowl. And Claire wonders why. The neighbor, in fact, is taking them in to make a lunch with. And that is very intriguing to Claire, who has always been taught that those are weeds and they need to be thrown away. And so Claire and her neighbor decide to cook a meal for her father, who thinks weeds should all be thrown away. So they're going to kind of trick him. And Claire is also working on a scrapbook of the different things that she's finding in her backyard, some of which are, we start here with dandelions, and so Claire writes a little story about what dandelions are and what they look like and all the nutritional value in the plant. And then she writes a little recipe from the menu that they're making this evening. And here is her neighbor, who's showing her neighbor is Celeste, and Celeste is showing her some sumac that they're going to make into some delicious sumac tea. And there's Claire. She's taking a picture of it for her scrapbook. And so in the book I do include actual photographs of the plants so that you can identify them for yourself. This is very hard to do. Okay. And then they go through and identify a few more plants, and then I'm going to flip to the end where they surprise the dad with a great meal that he loves, and then he finds out he's been eating weeds. And then in the very end, he takes them out for ice cream. So it's informative and a fun little story, and you can find this book on my blog, which is clairegoesforaging.blogspot.com, and of course you can always find it on Amazon. I've tried to keep it affordable so all of you guys can get it, and on Amazon you can even order it as an ebook. So happy reading!